Hello, welcome to Unboxing Alyss, the YouTube channel with a purple fox that unboxes things. I don't have physical things today. I'm Alistair Frost, and today we're going through Gateway Furmeet 2025. Ah! I'm sure you also noticed I'm somewhere else. I am trying something new. Since I don't have anything to show you guys in this video, I decided to kind of change it up. My standard studio, where I actually unbox physical items, is over there. So I basically moved 180 degrees in the same room. But hopefully this is going to give you a bit more to look at. This is my current desk. Yeah, I built this thing. It was horrifying. I hated it. But it's a very big, very long desk. I do love it. And I think you're only seeing half of it. I think the camera ends about here. There's a whole other desk going that way. But I figured since I decorated this place, it's got stuff all over it, maybe you'll have fun things to look at as I talk to you about Gateway Furmeet 2025. So, yeah, I'm going kind of off the seat of my pants. Normally in like conventions, as well as just when I go on vacation, I usually do like a daily diary, so I remember what I did. I obviously don't do videos for my vacations. I think I was supposed to do my first Japan trip once. I just didn't have time, and it would take probably 2 months or 4 videos to get through, so I just never did it. But with the conventions, I definitely like usually write them down, at the end of the day, just what I did, also what I spent, so I know I'm on budget. For this one, I was. For GalaxyCon, I was not. I went over by 100. Oops. But anywho, so yeah, I didn't get to do that because it was so much. So I kind of had to come up with my schedule, I think a few days ago on my own. So please bear with me. I will probably miss things. Of course, it's with my schedule, so y'all ain't gonna know if I missed anything or not unless I say it. I probably will. And I do have a cheat sheet right here. A cheat sheet I can't read. So, well, okay. I can kind of read some of it. So it might help me, it might not. But um, with Gateway Furmeet this year, it had been about a year and a half since Gateway Furmeet 2023. We of course didn't have a 2024 because we had the extra time to plan because it's a new venue and a new time, or rather a new date. Sorry. So normally GFM is in Maryland Heights, Missouri, and it's usually March somewhere. This year, for the first time, it was moved to the Ballpark Village down in like downtown St. Louis, I think. Okay, if that's not downtown, feel free to yell at me. I'm not local. I'm from Central Illinois. That is where I currently live. I am not from St. Louis. I've never lived there. So if that's not technically downtown, then yell at me, I guess. But it's where the Cardinals play. So it is the Ballpark Village in St. Louis, which unfortunately screams expensive, and it kind of was. But there's always people walking around, and it's a very festive looking atmosphere. The hotel itself is pretty big. It's really nice and definitely something we needed because we were expanding pretty quickly not last year, but last GFM we had 900 and I think 34 attendees, which is great because 2022 we had 700 and like 40 something. So we increased by another 200. That's a decent amount of people. So we definitely outgrew the Westport, and so we moved over to Ballpark Village. We also decided to change the date to the fall. So our dates this year were October 3rd through 5th. I think that did conflict with Archon. I think there's also like a Ren Fair every year in the St. Louis area. That's a month-long thing. It's over multiple weekends, so it didn't interfere as much. But yeah, Archon, same weekend. and, but it did not seem to affect us at all. I'll get to that at the end. But as with pretty much every convention at this point, I go up Thursday just to get my badge and chill, get my hotel room, and just kind of chillax. Don't really want to fight the Horde on Friday. Really don't want to fight the Horde on Saturday. And I am part of the team. As you can see on my shirt, I went and changed shirts. I wore this yesterday, so that's why it's wrinkly. And I didn't think I'm going to record today. Probably shouldn't wear this shirt. But this is the team shirt I bought this year. I really do enjoy having a shirt that specifically says team or staff or whatever it may be, depending on what you're. I'm going to keep doing this, by the way. Y'all know this thing is not comfortable, depending on what I'm doing. So I do like having a shirt that designates I am a team member I am a person who is here to help, is here to guide. It's going to be the same way with Ponyville Cider Fest. They do have different shirts. Last year, I think my shirt was a wonky teal, I think, with I think pink lettering. I don't remember. I have to go look. I have to find the shirt. But it stood out because being Royal Guard, you know, you want to stand out. These shirts don't stand out as much, but they very clearly say GFM team on it. So I did go ahead and grab one of these. These were for purchase for us, so they weren't like a freebie shirt or anything like that. But I went up Thursday. I got out kind of late. I had to get down there by 3:30. I had a hair appointment, so I did that first because check-in I think it was like 4 or something. It was actually kind of late as far as hotels go. So I did that, and a friend of mine whose fiance was coming from Japan, she was going to visit and our anime group, and they met on Saturday. But there's no way in hell I was making it to that meet. So I went ahead and took the opportunity Thursday to go see her. We all met her in Japan when we went the first time, and they just kept talking and became a couple, and now they actually are married. They married while she was here. They're going to have a big fancy, you know, traditional Japanese wedding next year, but I really wanted to see her, so really happy to see. And I know she's not watching, but I'm going to say hello, Miyuki, anyway. So hello, congratulations, Miyuki and Shandon. You guys are an awesome couple, and you're adorable, and I love you. So my Thursday, besides that, basically consisted of getting the hotel room. In the past, I've always stayed in my own room, but I was able to stay with a team member, a fellow team member this year, and she was still working, so I went ahead and grabbed the room when I got there. Geez, I think, whew, it might have been like closer to 6:30 or 7 when I finally checked in and got our room. And then I decided to, and this is something I discovered, and y'all are going to make fun of me, especially if you live in the area. But when we did our walkthrough of the hotel, I was told, because that day there was a game, there was actually a Cardinals game, and people were saying, for the love of God, don't, if you can avoid it, do not park, do not park in the ballpark, because it is going to, they're charging out the rear end. So if you can, you know, carpool, which I can't do that, I am not down there, or take the metro. It's like, okay, I don't know jack all about the metro, but let's figure this out. And another guy, a member of the security team, was very familiar with the metro, and he was talking to me back and forth and explaining how it works and all that. I was very, very nervous because I've never used it before, but it was actually great. You know, I just hopped on at the Casino Queen over in East St. Louis. Just leave your car there, and then take it's the 2 stops to get to I think it was 8th and Pine, and then you just like an 8-minute walk to the hotel. It's very easy to do. And so I decided to just do that all weekend for the most part. So I just left my car at the Casino Queen and prayed nothing happened to it because they don't really have security in that parking lot. I think they do in the actual Casino Queen parking lot. My boss, who actually lives in Fairview Heights, was suggesting just park in a casino lot. I did notice the signs that said "We will tow you," so I did not want to risk that. So I went ahead and just parked in the commuter parking lot. Unfortunately, my car's ponies all over, so it's very identifiable. But parked there, hopped on the train. I just left my car there, and it's just, I think it wouldn't be a one way because I think one way tickets are for the same day. So just $250 or whatever to get there, and then $250 to come back when I need to get my car to load up. I did unload, I checked in the hotel, unloaded my stuff, and then took the metro, or drove my car to the casino and then took the metro back. This hotel is, I'm not a fan of the valet whatever park. I didn't use valet parking, but like when you park your car in the front to unload, like I guess they are valets. They will like ask for your keys, which I was not at all comfortable with. I get it. If someone else drives away, they want to be able to move your car just to keep things going. I don't want strange people in my car. I did not like that. But gave the dude my key. Though it then bit me in the butt because when I came back down to, because I had to make 2 trips. I came back down to unload the second group of things. I couldn't find him. He has my keys. I was like, well, dude, this helps no one. This really does not help anyone. But I unloaded my stuff and then again took my car to the Casino Queen and brought the metro back. that is a part that my mother was not happy with because it is dark. It is, close to 8 when I'm doing all this, and I still have to walk through just a couple streets. And I think I was able to cut through like a little park or whatever, which my mom really didn't like. But I think I think I called her and just kept her on the line the entire time just to assure her. So if she hears, then, I was kidnapped or whatever. But didn't happen. I wasn't kidnapped. Landed there safely. And I just I got dinner. I think actually I grabbed dinner before, like after I left my friend's house. I ate, I don't even remember. I don't have a picture of it. I'm like, think Raising Cane's or something. Some chicken tenders I can eat on the way there. Actually, it might have been McDonald's. I don't remember. Apparently, McDonald's has chicken tenders now. Not the nuggets, just like the tender thing. But whatever it was, I grabbed it, out of St. Louis, so I wouldn't pay an arm and my tail for dinner. So yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't buy on site Thursday night, but Thursday's just getting my stuff up there, just getting organized, taking a shower, eating on the way, waiting for my roommate Fiddle to come in. She came in really late because she's doing volunteer stuff. Well, that's Thursday. Thursday isn't really a big deal. I was able to get my badge. They had just closed Reg. I am so sorry, Kezel and his team. They had just closed Reg, but I know, just come on in. You're fine. You're a team member. It takes 2 seconds. Nothing's down. We haven't taken the stuff down. So they got me my badge, and I also got this shirt and come up. So that's pretty much Thursday. Not much really happens. It's not really supposed to do. Not much is supposed to happen. That's usually how Thursdays are at conventions because the con itself usually starts on Friday. With oh my god, Ponyville Cider Fest, they do have a pub trot, and I will briefly mention that when I talk about Cider Fest in the next month. I never go to those. I don't really drink all that much, almost never. So no real point in me going. None of my friends really drink all that much, if at all. So that's not something I go to. But other than that, at PVCF, I don't know of many events that really happen on Thursday nights of conventions. So Friday, we always have a team meeting at 8:30 in the morning. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that happens. Moving on. There was already a line forming at registration, long line. And so after the meeting, those of us at security, by the way, there were 3 of us. I have 3 fingers. 3 and 3/4 of us. I don't know how to make a 3/4 of a finger, but that was it. That was our security or animal control team. Kaz is in charge, as myself, Jicaro, and then we had to share phalanx with someone else. So we got most of him, but not all of him. So yeah, just 3 and 3/4 people for this giant con. That's all we had. This is yet another reason why I'm glad I didn't try to duck out Saturday to go see my friends Shannon and Miyuki at the anime thing. We don't have enough people. We just can't really spare anyone. So I'm glad that just really worked out. But we spent that morning just helping with Reg because there's just so many people, and you have to ask, okay, did you pre-reg? Yes, okay, you go in that line. Okay, no, you didn't pre-reg. All right, you can do it on your phone if you want. We also have terminal. That's just showing people where to. Oh, you're a sponsor. Okay, this is your line. So it was just corralling people because there's just so many, and also making sure the line that wound around doesn't block anything. So is basically a thoroughfare, like where people go. And this is where everyone in the hotel is going to go through. This isn't necessarily a con space. Much of the second floor, barring one spot, and I will get to that, is basically our space. It's just the convention. On the first floor, it's pretty much everybody in most instances. We're sharing with regular people. We're sharing with a lot of flight crews, and we're sharing with various people. And there were, I think, 1, 2, like maybe 3 restaurants. So like one thoroughfare going past ConOps and registration going this way, there's a restaurant right there, and it's of course open to everybody. So I think towards the front of the hotel was like Starbucks or something. I don't remember. I don't drink coffee, so I don't care. But something like that was up there. So there are some certain areas where we just can't block off. It's for everyone, or rather, mainly, for uh, people who are staying at the hotel. So that would be us, but there would be a lot of other people. But we did that till, well, I did that till about 10:45. We went and got our suit heads, myself, Jacaro, and I think Cass had his as well. And we had opening ceremonies. So just kind of an outline of, what we're doing, what to expect. All of the team leads were there, introduced what they did, how things are, kind of run. Kaz went ahead and had me and Jacaro come up. I think Phalanx was up there, sitting in for, another person. So he was already up there. Myself and Jacaro got up just to show, this is your security team. Us. It's just two of us. Please be nice. Please be nice to us. But I did appreciate that, and just the fact that he's showing people, what we look like. We're anyone can help you. Any team member can help you. Not all team members though had the shirt. Again, this was a purchase shirt. Some just didn't want to purchase the shirt. So, but for sure, if you see someone with this shirt, they are a team member. And I did appreciate the fact that he brought us up there so people know what we look like. In particular, if us being security or animal control. We also took our first suit heads up, just in case we are in the suit. If you're ever squeaking, by the way, I'm sorry. I think it's this jaw again. I will try to fix it. I can't fix it, and it's not going back to blue wolf. So hopefully you guys can't hear that squeaking. But because I certainly can, it's driving me nuts. But just in case we are around suiting and you do have a question, you can hopefully recognize this purple fox is also security. So you can, tap on my shoulder, get my attention. I can't, don't jump up behind me and do this, because I will freak out and I will act like a horse and probably kick you. I don't know what you're doing. So, come up to me or just tap me, say, hey, I think you're security, question. So that's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's why Cass has to do that, just so you know what we look like in and out of suit. So, but open stairs was fine. They did make the announcement that, just an FYI, we're sharing the space with a wedding. And that little, I mentioned most of the second floor was for GFM, except one little part. That one little part is the wedding. The wedding wasn't until Saturday, though, so we didn't have to worry about it till then. So, but that was just a heads up. We are sharing the space with you. We're not ruining this couple's special day. It's clear where they are. It will be, when the time came and the wedding started and happened, and it was very clear where the wedding space was and where our space was. It was, for the most part, blocked off, not completely, so there people can go in and out. And I think a hotel security guard was there to make sure. But it is abundantly clear where you shouldn't be. So if you are a member of GFM, stay out of there. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. After that was a lot of roaming. I am sorry. A lot of my videos now are going to be, and then I roamed for so many hours because I'm actively working conventions, and I don't know how long this video is going to get, but in the past I was able to tell you about all the the panels I went to and da da da. I don't do as many. I almost don't go to panels because I feel like I should be working. So just so you know, and then I went roaming is going to be a common thing you hear, because a lot of my time is spent roaming, mainly in like Dealer's Den, Artist Alley, the 18 plus Artist Alley. Well, okay, Vendor Hall, and then 18 plus Vendor Hall. And then there was an Artist Alley in the front. So the difference being in the Vendor Hall was a closed room. So the artists could just leave their stuff. They usually drape something over it, like a sheet or something. But after the dealer room closed or vendor room closed, it'd be locked, so no one's getting in and out. With the artist alley, it's just a bunch of tables in front of the vendor hall. So every night they do have to take their stuff with them. I mean, they can leave it if they want. We can't guarantee it won't be taken. So. And then in a room next door was the 18 plus. I think there were four creators in that one. So I'm just going through the dealer's den or vendor. I'm going to use them interchangeably. Same thing. With furries, they aren't really dealers per se. A dealer is, they usually A, bigger, but B, they tend to buy, they tend to sell things that they didn't make. So think about like an anime convention or like a sci-fi convention where they're selling like DVDs and manga and like figurines imported from Japan. Like that is more dealer to me. With artists, obviously they make their own stuff, and I'm not saying make everything from scratch. There are plenty of artists that have made and designed their own enamel pins. I've backed a lot of them on Kickstarter. You've seen a lot of them on this channel. The creator themselves didn't literally make the pin. They don't have the equipment in their home to make a physical pin, but they will make the design and then contract with the company. So that's what I mean with an artist. Some will make everything from start to finish. Some are designing something, but they will need something to mass produce it. Either way, they are considered artists. But I would do a lot of that, and while I'm walking, just kind of sneaking around and seeing, oh, I kind of like that, and I think I like that. Oh, I'm liking that. Oh, that's too expensive. No, I'm kind of shopping a little bit as I do that, but I'll walk around, and I would also just go around the con floor. In part, this is a new venue. I don't know this hotel. So it's new for everyone, I guess, unless you've stayed in that Hilton Ballpark Village, whatever it's called, which I haven't. I've been to like maybe 3 or 4 Cardinals games, and it was usually a work thing. Like my mom is a physician, so she might get invited through her work. She's retired now, but way back when she would do like that. And I think the drug rep thing was bigger then. And when I got my first job out of grad school, they had a Cardinals like skybox type of thing. Every time I've been, I've always been in the box. So never sat in the actual seats. I've been in the place with the food and everything. It's been great. But when it comes to like going to a game, I don't like sports. I don't watch sports, so I've never, paid for my own ticket to go. So I'm not familiar with the Ballpark Village or that hotel. But I'm also weaving around, just trying to memorize, to memorize where everything is. And we use an app called Venvi. I might try to take a picture or do a video of me scrolling through it and just put that in the edit somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put pictures. Oh, I forgot to mention, when I do con videos like this, I will just put up pictures from the con. They will just cycle through unless there's something I'm specifically talking about. There may be a picture that matches that. Like I'll talk about the BIPOC meet, and I think we got a picture of that. But for the most part, you're just going to see random pictures, just so you know. But yeah, I did use Venby, and that was very helpful. But I'm still trying to memorize where everything is. The way some of the rooms were like labeled or named was a little weird, a little funky compared to what it is in the hotel. So yeah, there was a lot of lost people, but that's what we're here for. But yeah, I did a lot of that, just going around and talking to attendees. That is also part of my job as animal control, just making sure people are having a good time. Do they have any questions? Do they have any suggestions? I know one woman who was there with her child, so she has a minor attendee, and she's a tag along. I met quite a few of those actually, but she misses like the old place that had like, if you've been to GFM in the past, like they had a basement that was just kind of open. There was like the main events down there, and I think the vendor hall was down there too, but there was just kind of a general area to just sit and chill, and they put giant Jenga down there. I think I put pictures last time of a bunch of older guys just like trying to build, look like the Parthenon or something. But it was there, and you had like boxes that people could play in, and it was just a nice chill space. It's hard to do something like that in this space, so she kind of misses something like that. But a lot of people compliment how much bigger this place is, how it's more spacious, and which is really, really good. So I'm just kind of going around, just talking to people, making sure people know where they're going. I don't really have any memory issues. There are a lot of people, getting used to the space. The entire time, I actually, well, in the beginning, like during the day, I was wearing this, but I did change into something else. A Kigu. I have a couple of Kigus I had made. One is of Alyss. Another one is of another character. I will. Well, there's gonna be some like selfie pictures of me with people. I am wearing that Kigu, so you'll see maybe a little bit of it. The ones with the full body, I'm probably gonna leave those out of this video because I will review that Kigu probably in January along with another clothing item. So just that'll be the month. It'll be the Kigus and it'll be something else. But so I don't want to show too much of that, but I will say I did try. I took my Kigu. I almost didn't. Um, I was afraid to be too hot, and when I got there, the space was really cold. And I'm Nigerian or half Nigerian. I get cold easily, so but the place was just really cold to me, especially registration. I do not know why registration was so cold. That was a complaint for from everyone, like attendees and team members alike. I don't know how Kessel and his team did it because that's where they were stationed. Fiddle as well because that's where she was with her volunteers. But my goodness, registration was cold. But no, I was like, okay, I'm cold. I'm gonna try my Kigu. I'm sure it'll start burning up once I put it on. That was actually fine. I went ahead and wore my feet paws just because I can. I had to walk like this all weekend because I was wearing my feet paws. If you haven't worn feet paws before, your feet are now more than double the size that they usually are. So you're gonna have to walk a bit differently. And I did that essentially all weekend. My legs and my feet did not appreciate that at all, but I had fun and it was cute. Um, and I will show a couple of my full body pictures when I unbox the Kigo. So from the convention. But yes, just so you know, I did wear that most of the weekend, and I was pretty comfortable. It was done really well. I also had pockets, unlike the Kigo from Ponyville Side Fest. I still cannot believe there are no pockets in that thing. Oh my gosh. But anywho, um, after a lot of roaming, the only thing I had scheduled was the BIPOC meet. That is the one I host every single year. It is for Black, Indigenous, and people or furries of color. And we had probably about 12 to 15 people. Really good turnout. It's about what we usually have. We had a really good discussion about just a variety of things that all of us face. I will not go into details, but we had a really good group. There, one of the people there was clearly a minor. Their dad was also in the room with them. He's just sitting there listening. But no, we had a really, really good turnout for that. A lot of good conversation and discussion. And I believe we got a picture at the end of that. I will put that in here, right? I'm talking about it. Beyond that, I will look at my notes. I'm blanking already. But I think that was pretty much it for my panels. I did sit at the door for Smash and Pass, which you name a character and people say, do they want to smash it, have relations with them, or pass? That's what it is. So I'm not in that, but I can listen to them, and they were coming up with the weirdest characters. I think around 8, I went and got dinner. I had an hour between Smash and Pass and I think Leopardy, which I'm also just dooring for. These are all, I believe, 18 plus panels, so we absolutely have to have someone at the door checking badges and IDs. There have been some conventions where you just check badges because the badge will say 18 plus anyway, but it's more of a cover your behind for the convention itself to just do IDs. Takes me a while because I'm seeing a lot of Missouri, I'm seeing a lot of Illinois. I'm from Illinois, but I'm also seeing IDs from all over, all 50 states, and some like PVCF. I saw badges from other countries, or I'm sorry, fast passports for other countries. So I have to hunt and find where the dates are on these. I don't have them memorized because I don't see freaking Utah IDs very often. So I feel bad because I'm holding people up, but I need to see that date. But yeah, with Leopardy, I believe that was 18 plus. So I checked that. I did roaming for an hour, and I ended with Jackbox, just dooring or bad checking for Jackbox. That was a 2-hour panel. I think it ended at 1. So it sounded like they were having fun. I'm not entirely sure what Jackbox is. I think it's just a game that you can also participate on your phone. So there's a lot of audience participation. There's I think like questions and things you can answer. That's what I got out of it as I was sitting there listening to it while I was there, because it was 11 to 1. That's when that one ended at 1. So a lot of flight crews came past me, and no one poked their head or anything like that, but they're just kind of craning their neck as they're walking down the hallway to get to their rooms. Like, what the heck is going on? And I said, oh, it's a game called Jackbox. And like, oh, what is? I had to pretend to know what I knew of Jackbox is. And of course, there are furries out in the lobby just chilling. There's a bunch of suitors. So yeah, a lot of flight crews look very confused because they didn't know what was going on. I think I mentioned this before at MFF. They actually have a sign up that says, what is going on here, and they'll explain exactly what furries are and what you're looking at. I wish GFM has something like that, but no one ever gets, like, to my knowledge, no one's ever gotten hostile. I mean, like, non-furs coming, not in our space, but interacting with us. No, like, flight crews or anything like that. Generally, yeah, non-furries are pretty chill when it comes to not competing, but sharing the space with us. So that was the night. I tried to help shut things down, get what do you call, the doors locked and all of that. And I just went to bed. I think I talked to Phil a little bit before we went to bed. Like, we just went to bed like 3 a.m. It's too darn early, and we had our team meeting at 8:30. So, but oh joy, it is Saturday, the busiest day of any convention. I don't care what convention it is. So after the meeting, I did a little bit of registration, and then I got to do the fursuit games. So yay! I actually do have a video of the fursuit games, and not its entirety because I got down there late. So unfortunately, I had to miss musical chairs slash hot potato. I guess I don't know why we combined those, but cool. So I was like, I don't know, 8 minutes late, so I wasn't able to participate, and I missed the first part of musical chairs, but I got most of it. So I will play the first two games in their entirety. It'll be a completely separate video. It will probably get demonetized because I believe they were playing popular music. That's what happened to the last time I posted that, because they had, today's latest music or whatever, and those all, will get hit with the copyright stuff. Thankfully, my channel's not monetized, so I do not care. So as long as YouTube doesn't take it down, it will stay up, and you guys can watch what we did. They did again, musical chairs, but also hot potato in the opposite direction. And I do not have anything that resembles that hot potato. So, little football about this big, and it's fairly small, and we have big paws. My paws are very floppy because they don't fit. Blue Wolf did not wait for me to send, like, I think she asked, "Oh, send me your hand measurements." Like, okay, and I was at work or whatever. I'll do this, I'll do it after work, and she didn't wait. She just made a pause without my measurements. So these are way too big. So if you see me like this, or like when I walk around, I tend to walk like this, because if I do this, they will start to slide off. Just so you know. But so yeah, with fursuit, you're carrying this little tiny, and you're also trying to go that way and listen to the music, because when it stops, you get to sit. And if you don't have your seat, or you have the hot potato, you're out. In some instances, that was the same person. So they're like double out. But we did that. And what else? The relay race, I did do that. I don't, God, what happened with that? So they split us all up. The winner and runner up for musical chairs hot potato were the team captains, and so they were picking, going back and forth picking people. Which someone's like, "This is high school all over, or this is middle school all over again." I was like, "Yes, yes, it is." But got in our two lines. We're supposed to just run back and we split our lines. So someone runs down here with something. I don't know, the dumb footballs again. And then you grab that and you run back this way, and we just do that. And whoever did it fastest won. And somehow one team ended up with like 5 extra people. I don't know. I don't know what happened. So they ultimately settled it with rock paper scissors, which is extremely anticlimactic. But that's what we did. The relay was good, so I got to do a little bit of running. And I think the last thing, what they usually do more activities, but I think the first 2 games is also usually longer. I think it was only an hour this time. I think in the past it's been an hour and a half at the very least, or 2 hours. So that's why we're able to do like the sitting Jenga, or like the hockey, or any of those. I love the hockey so much. It's also very dangerous though, but I miss hockey. But after that, it was duck duck goose. I was out. That I learned the hard way at the first 2 games a couple of years ago. I am too old. Like literally, I'm filming this in the beginning of November. I just turned 40 on November 5th. So like a few days ago, yay me. I'm old. I have arthritis in my knees. It takes me forever to get up. I can't chase. No, not happening. This is not happening. So I sat that one out, and then we were kind of done with that. What I should have done after that is shower, because that's what you're supposed to do when you suit. You take a shower, but I was like, well, the first two photos are 2:30, so there's just no point. I don't really have time to shower and then go back on duty and then do the first suit thing. No, I'll just wait until after the first suit photo, and then I'll just shower and do my other panel. So I am roaming again in my Kigu. I am sure I smell delicious. Gosh, but I did a lot of just going around the dealers down Artist Alley. One of my favorites. What do you call it? Artist there. Saffy Moon was there, and they actually closed the Artist Alley. Well, they closed the vendor hall, so they could go, eat lunch. And I think the dance competition was there or something. They had a few hours to, close. I should have bought some Saffy Moon. I was like, oh, they're closed. I'll come back and I'll just get them, after my panel at 4:30. And they weren't there, and I was like, no. Well, I didn't have time, but I'll get to that anyway. So after the roaming, I had the first two photo at 2:30. It is very much like herding cats. It's so difficult. It's trying to get everyone. Okay, tall people back there. If you're short, stay up here. Keep moving. Don't have time to. You will visit with people afterwards. Just keep going. It is ridiculous. Though I will put a picture of that up. It's pretty easy to find me because that's kind of the perk of having to help corral everyone at the very end, like right before they take a picture. They'll say, okay, all team members hop in, and I'm 5'2", so I just hop in the front so you can see me. But it took a while, but we got it done. And actually, at the first suit games, I was happening sitting next to a suitor that had a lot of purple in their suit, and they noticed I also have purple in my suit, so they invited me to take the purple photo. I mentioned this at MFF last time I went. Someone invited me to that as well, so I got to be in their purple picture. I do not think that picture has been posted yet. If it does, before this video comes out, I'll go ahead and add it in edits. If not, I'll just add it on my social media for Instagram and Blue Sky later on. But as of right now, I don't have that picture. But after all that, I think I got done at 3:10, and I had a napping panel at 3:30. It's like, I don't have time to shower once again. Well, I did before, I just didn't. I don't have time to shower. I went up there, desuited, so took head pult, everything off, and ran back down to my napping panel. And it's just that, a napping panel, NAPPING, as in sleep. So I saw that on the schedule. I was like, yes, I'm going to this. Nothing is stopping me from going to this. Because by the end, Saturday afternoon, I am going to need a nap. And it was just as I described, but they dimmed the lights, and there's half of one room. People were already laying down when I was there. People were just chilling. Some people were legit asleep to the point when it was time to go, we actually had to kind of shake somebody because they were out. And it kind of looked hilarious because they're just lying there like a person, but they had a fursuit hat on. So they are asleep, but you see this bright-eyed like expression, kind of like my expression now in suit. So it was just kind of funny. But yeah, it was so peaceful. They had like, I think, ocean noises just playing in the background. It was very chill. You didn't have to sleep if you didn't want to, but you had to be quiet. This was definitely like a quiet type of activity. And it was great, except the floor, which was really hard. When I did desuit, I left my tail on because I had this on. Because I think I went to, no, when I took the picture, I think I put a different shirt on because I technically wasn't on duty. I don't remember. I will look in the picture and see what I was wearing. But I did keep my tail on, and I tried using my giant tail as a pillow. It did not work. Well, it worked okay, but it did not save my back. My back was pain. I was in so much back pain. But after the napping panel, then I took a shower. I finally have time to take a shower. I let Kaz know I will be taking a shower so I don't smell up everything. While all this was happening, because the napping panel ended at 4:30, this is when the wedding was ramping up. I think the ceremony was at 3:30, and then they had the reception and everything after that. So at one point, there was an escalator going from the first and second floor. We shut that, not shut it down completely, but we made it so that no furries could use it. We basically said from this time to this time, let the wedding guests use it because going right up the escalator and you turn right and that's where they are. So we did everything we could just to make things easier and simpler for them. But after 5, I am basically stationed near the wedding. I think I did door for, I think it's Lizard Lex. I gotta remember what that person looks like because I've badged them every single time and they're like a guest, like a community guest. I feel bad. Kind of like Pepper Coyote. Though I do know what Pepper Coyote looks like. But I was, kind of checking badges there. I also kind of roamed that little mini hallway. So if you go again up the escalator to the right, wedding. Like they're all standing there having hors d'oeuvres in their finest. It was really weird actually. If you just go up the escalator and you take a few steps, you look to your right, you're going to see everyone dressed to the nines because they're at a wedding. And literally everywhere else, you're seeing people in animal costumes. It was very surreal. But I went patrolling that specific hallway for a couple hours. Just and again, they had a security guard. There was a hotel security guard in front of the wedding just to keep things going. But my main job was to make sure our people didn't just stop and talk and uh, take up the whole aisle because the wedding guests did have to leave their space to go to like the bathrooms. So that was mainly my job. None of our people tried sneaking their way in there. They aren't ridiculous like that. But it went really well. And I got to talk with some of the guests as they were going back and forth. Because I think one said the bride's father was a little apprehensive when he found out he was sharing, or they were sharing their space with furries. But it sounds like everyone was cool. They realized we aren't horrible people that are going to attack them and eat their children. So what's not to like, basically? And it was really nice. And the meantime, I also checked in on because the Headless Lounge was in that stretch. Gaming room was in that stretch. I actually saw someone there with I think a ROG Ally, but they had SteamOS on it. And I was like, well, why would you put SteamOS on the ROG Ally? Because it comes with Windows, and we had a conversation about that. Had a lot of discussions with various attendees. There was someone there that was doing repairs, like free repairs for fursuits. It's just really wholesome and really nice. And I enjoyed it. And at one point, I was relieved. I cannot remember what panel I did next. It might be on another page. It is on another page. I can't change pages. Oh, yeah, I can. Wait, I did it. So I think I went to dinner like at 8, just to get out of the way. I think Friday I went to the rooftop bar. I don't know if I have a picture of that. I think I forgot. But I did grab something Saturday, and after that, it was all like door stuff. We had an issue. There was an issue with one of the rooms. So we had to move the hypnosis panel to a smaller room. I think it was actually the security room, but it was really tight. Like it was capacity. But it sounded like a very interesting panel. I was listening to them talk about hypnosis. There were some people that had to kind of sit in weird places to get fit in. I did have to move some people. I know they were pissed. I don't care if there's a fire or something. People are gonna trample you, so you can't sit in the middle of the everything. You have to move. But after the hypnosis panel, it took a bit because the next 2 panels I think were drunk PC building and I forgot what the other one was, but this one had a very long line and it was winding down the hallway and through this other hallway, and we had to make sure people aren't blocking doors and things like that. So I stayed a little afterwards to try and help with that and coordinate that. Then I went to the dance. It was kind of to alleviate Jakara, but I think Jakara just stayed at the dance and kind of patrolled inside the dance while I checked badges. At this point, we did invite the wedding guests and, of course, bridegroom, wedding party to attend our dance if they wanted to. And a lot of them took us up on that. They came down, some of them, well, many of them, mostly guys, fairly intoxicated. Always great, but nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. But no, they didn't really cause any problems. And I heard they had a really great time. Apparently, the wedding photographer was taking pictures of people with suitors. So it wasn't just like people bringing out their phone and just taking a selfie, but like official wedding photos are going to have fire extinguishers in there, which is really cool. So that was mainly Saturday. I think I was supposed to door for the pet play panel, but I think they got it covered. Someone else covered it. So I just ate the dance until mainly closing for the most part. I kind of roamed around a little bit more, even though dance ended at midnight. Pet play was still at 1, so I think I went over there just kind of lurk around. Though they really has there's nothing going on. Well, I won't say there's nothing going on that panel. It seemed like all the attendees of that panel were having a blast, but like I just not much else going on outside of that panel. That's what I did. Because the dance is over. There are no other panels. This is the only one left. So there are some people sitting in the lobby, just kind of chilling, talking with each other. So I'm just kind of roaming around the general area. But yeah, roaming is going to be most of my job at security. That's the ideal. We don't actually want actual security people outdoors, but we just sometimes you're needed. Sometimes that's where you're needed. So I will say we had a lot of volunteers this year, which is awesome, and a lot of really, really good, really dedicated and committed volunteers. So we got a lot of help this year, and that was great. And that was Saturday. I think I once again went to bed like 3. I gotta stop doing that. Gotta stop doing that. But Sunday rolls around, meeting as usual. A little bit of help with the registration, but there's not the line that was there Friday. So it was a lot of roaming. I freaked out initially because I couldn't find Saffy Moon Sunday morning, but they came back. So I got my stuff. And got some from someone else. But you'll see all this in the next video. The next video is going to be all about merch. So the big event, of course, on Sunday was the charity auction. I think it's Friends of the Pets Adoption. I think that was the charity. I'm not sure. They weren't super visible this year. They did have their Meet the Charity panel, like I think Friday, but beyond that, I don't think they were around very much. They weren't really there for the auction part. I don't think, which is unusual because normally they are. But I think I did get one thing. I'll show you that in the next video. But there was some really cool stuff that was available. There's so many plush carrots, like fursuit props, like so many of those. A lot of carrots, but a lot of really cool stuff, and we raised quite a bit of money. So the rest of the time is just going to be me roaming because there's no other big events other than the charity auction. When it comes to panels or events I actually attended, it was really just BIPOC on Friday. That's the only, and I'm the host for that. I'm the panelist. For Saturday, just fursuit game, fursuit photo, and then that panel. And then Sunday's charity auction. That's all I really did. Were there other panels I was interested in? Yes. But again, since I'm on staff or I'm a team member, I tend to forego a lot of that just to help, especially because we were so short staffed. So it was a lot of me roaming on Sunday, and just talking with other people and making sure people are okay, making sure they getting their opinions, making sure they fill out those evaluations at the end of the convention. The only other event is closing ceremonies where they announced we had roughly 1288. That sounds weird. 1,288 people attend this year, which is crazy because again, last year we had 964. So another big jump by about 300. And we raised about 19K for the, I think, Friends of the Pets Adoption Center, something like that. So raised more money than the last time as well, which is also really great for that charity. And it was also announced that apparently, this is according to the hotel, like this is new hotel, never hosted the furry convention before, so we're all trying to be accommodating to the hotel as well, make sure everyone's best behaved because you don't want to piss off a hotel. It's a great way to lose a con. So, we've always had good relationship with the hotel, and they were very happy with our attendees. We were very well behaved. It was a really good relationship. They actually said we were better behaved than the wedding. And I'm pretty sure, had way more people than the wedding. But so some fun news there. I did forget to mention, I think it was Saturday. We got new, what do you call it? like new signs for each of the so like dealer room first, headless sign. They were the standard ones we had before, but we just ordered new ones that had the magical menagerie theme. Sorry, that was the theme. Totally forgot to say that. Just magic. So no big like mystery murder whatever involved thing like last year. But we got brand new ones. They look really cool, and I will have pictures of those that will probably distributed as I was talking. But I think it was Friday night where someone stole the one that said Conops and Revenge, and don't I don't know if we ever got it back. I'm not really sure. I know Hoobs, our con chair, did announce, "Hey, please don't do that. Seriously, those things do cost a lot of money to get made. Please don't take them. They are also very necessary to tell people where things are. That's why they are made. So yeah, it's the future. Don't steal con stuff. Please don't do that. It is not funny. It really isn't. But no, a really good convention. Again, raised a lot of money. Got way more people here, and we were better behaved in the wedding. So yes, furries win. Awesome. After that, it's Dead Dog. Well, we put things away. Get the main events ready for the Dead Dog dance. So getting rid of all the chairs and whatnot. And I don't do the Dead Dog dance. Nothing against the Dead Dog dance. A lot of people have a lot of fun at it. I don't like loud music, and I can't dance anyway, so I just don't go. I normally don't go to the dances. Like I sat at the door on Saturday for most of them, so I'm hearing the music, but it's a good blend or a good balance of I'm not in there, so it's not blowing my eardrums, but I can still hear, so I can kind of dance in my chair a little bit, but not lose half my hearing. So again, Dead Dog's not my thing. So I just well not D soup but D Kiku, um, and I just got food at the bar, not the bar, yeah, like a restaurant bar. So like a burger or something. I was just craving a burger. I want a burger. I want a burger now. I tend to avoid pork and beef, but every once in a while I just weirdly crave burgers. So I was like, sure, burger. I might have a picture of that. I don't remember. If I have a picture, you'll see it. But yeah, I just took Sunday night easy. I did go down to Conops just in case they need help with anything else, or Conops and like Reg and everything. They're just going through stuff, just kind of sitting, chatting a little bit, and a lot of people at the Dead Dog dance. But I just had got my food, and I hooked my Steam Deck up to the TV, and I don't even remember what I watched. It could have been Hell of a Boss. It could have been Has Been Hotel. It might have been Ryan George. I don't remember, but I was just watching stuff, just chilling, and packing up my stuff, getting ready for the next day. And that was basically Sunday. I talked with Fiddle when she came back up. And she was out like most of the weekend. I rarely saw her until like the tail end of the night. She was just so busy managing all of the volunteers, but she did an amazing job. And again, her volunteers also did a really good job this year. It was really great. And Monday, look, this is the only time where I've stayed till Monday for a convention. Usually I check out on Sunday. But since I'm in this reduced housing, it goes till Monday. So I went ahead and stayed overnight and helped them move like a rig heavy equipment on Monday. And that was it. So I do some finagling because I had to check out at 11. So I think I had to break from them briefly to, take the train back to the Casino Queen and get my car back and then load myself in the car, and then park my car here somewhere across the way. That parking was like $15. What? No, it wasn't even that. It was like per 20 minutes. But when I brought my car back, we had like an hour and a half's work left, so I think I paid $6 or something. It was not bad at all compared to I think it was about $20 or $25 a day for like the hotel park, not even hotel park, but like parking garages or whatever. So I saved myself like $100, just doing the whole metro thing, which I really appreciate. I mean, I could buy cooler stuff or more cool stuff, and that's it. After we got it all packed up, I drove back here home. Wait, that was not a sentence. I drove back home, went straight to Mom, told her the entire saga that I just told you, though it was more detailed when I told it to her because it just happened as opposed to I'm trying to remember this almost a month later, and I showed her all of the things I bought. So yeah, that was GFM 2025. As usual, I had a fantastic time. Every time like, especially the years where I'm now a team member, I'm meeting more team members, I'm interacting with more of them, and just learning more about how this, how all of this works and fits together. And I really appreciate my fellow teamers. Just everyone works so freaking hard to get this done. A lot of people just don't know. I helped found a con at NIU my last year of undergrad, and I mean there were 10 of us, and two of the team members were my mom and my little sister, who was like 12 and whatever at the time. No, a little older than that. But there were only 10 of us, and 178 people showed up. We were expecting 60, but I was there from starting, planning the thing, and I was actually in charge of dealers then, and I know firsthand what it takes to found a con. I've also worked with other cons, so I do work with PVCF. Running a con and planning a con is a lot. Just so many people don't know what goes into it. It is a lot. I guarantee you, it is a lot. And we don't get paid. This is not a paid gig for us. We just do it because we love this con, and we really want to continue. We want it to continue. We want it to continue to succeed, and we love seeing all of our fellow fluffs. And this is just your weekend to be around like-minded people and just let yourself go and not live in the real world for 3 days. And it's really, really nice. But again, I always recommend GFM. I think I've recommended all of my cons, MFF as well, though that is a way bigger con. If you are new to conventions, I would start with something like GFM, which is smaller, and just kind of ease into things. But yeah, that's GFM. Um, I guess I'll do a brief recap of GalaxyCon as well. I'm not doing a separate video for that. I'm not doing a merch video. Half the merch is already put away, so I'm not gonna go like some of it's behind this behind the light. Three like little Ghibli posters that are really pretty. But that was the very next week, so I did two cons one after the other. It was so I was so dead at the end of GalaxyCon. But I went down there Friday, and I got to meet several voice actors. John DiMaggio, who does Bunder from Futurama, Harvey Gilliam. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he is most famously, oh god, he's in What We Do in the Shadows. But he also did Perito from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and he was in Companion earlier this year. Really good role, just not as many people saw Companion, but he was really great in that. And then I got to see Brandon Rogers, Richard Horvitz, and Vivian Nixon Williams, who are Blitz, Moxie and Millie from Hell of a Boss, respectively. I got to see the entire, big part of the Has Been Hotel cast. What's his name? Blake Roman, who voices Angel Dust, as well as I think the eggs for Serpentius. He signed my fat nuggets. I'm going to continue saying it like that because it sounds weird, but it's a plushie of the character's pet, Fat Nuggets, a little demon pig. And I think those were all my. Did I miss anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, those were the autographs slash photos I got. Some were just autographs, but no, it was a lot of fun. The Hello Boss panel was especially like the Q&A between those three actors and the moderator or host, whatever he wants to call himself, was especially funny. You can find both Has Been and Hell of a Boss, those Q&As, on YouTube. Just look under GalaxyCon. They are a lot of fun, and I loved meeting those actors. They're always really sweet, especially Richard Horvitz, who like I told him my name, and he's like, "Oh, I love spelling names," and so we did like this back and forth. Not during the Q&A, like during his booth. We did like a back and forth. He was trying to spell my name, and then later on in the panel or in the Q&A, I got to ask a question. The guy asked, "What's your name?" and I said my name, my real name. He's like, "Oh, I know such and such. I spelled it." He spelled the name in front of everybody else, and I just started laughing. It's so funny, but no, I enjoy GalaxyCon as well. It is a way more expensive con. If you want like autographs and whatnot, yeah, you're gonna shell out a lot. My friend got William Shatner. That was $145 just for the photo. So keep that in mind when you go to these bigger like corporate run cons. There's GalaxyCons all over the country. This is I think the first time it was in St. Louis. But no, I enjoyed it immensely. I stayed with a friend, so I didn't have to pay the hotel. And we did carpool one day. I went with the Metro a couple other days. Friday, she couldn't get off, so I did that. And then Sunday, I went at different times than they did. So I went ahead and used the Metro again. And I met a friend of mine from my NSG through Cave group. So hello, Joel. I don't know if he's watching, but hello, Joel. It was nice seeing you. I just saw him last week. We had our Misty meet, and this is my birthday month. It was my birthday pick, and I showed everybody RRR, the Telugu movie. It's great. Watch it. But that was GalaxyCon. So yes, 2 cons in 2 weeks. I really don't want to do that again because it's a lot. It really is. And I was just drained by the end. I think I took Monday and Tuesday off for both cons. For GFM, I knew I was going to do that since I was staying until Monday, and I got back fairly late. I knew I was going to take Tuesday off to decompress. For GalaxyCon, I was just going to take off. Well, Monday was a holiday, actually. It was Indigenous Peoples Day. As a public sector worker, I get that day off. So that was going to be my day off that I didn't have to actually take because it's already a holiday for us. But I was just so drained, and I think I had some stomach issues. So I ended up staying, taking the Tuesday off just to rest my stomach. But yeah, it was a whirlwind. But I enjoyed both. I would definitely go back to GalaxyCon next year, and I absolutely would continue going to GFM. I love being a team member. I love working with the other members of the team, and I just love seeing all of our attendees. Some of them year after year, and everyone just seemed to have a really good time. If you are in St. Louis in around October, please look us up on Facebook and keep track of GFM. If you can attend, definitely do. It's a really fun time. Okay, I'm tired and I am starting to sweat, so I absolutely need to shower when I'm done with this. Don't be me, kids. After you suit, shower. Just shower. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys know the drill. If you like what I do, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. The next video will be what I bought in terms of GFM. Not GalaxyCon. I will not put that in there, but there's enough for Gateway Furmeet alone. Trust me, it's all in that pile over there next to my Simply Safe stuff. So I will be doing that next time. Please look forward to that because there was some really, really cool merch that I got. But until then, I'm going to stop dying. So, goodbye.